My first sexual abuse experience was at 6 years old.
At 6?
Yeah. So at the time, my dad, I think he was in the military, and it was just my mother, and she left me with her boyfriend's brother to babysit. And his brother and the girlfriend, they were at the house. So my mom and her boyfriend, they left, and I stayed, right? I was about 6 years old. And I stayed, and I watched cartoons. I thought absolutely nothing of it, right? I thought nothing of it. And me being 6 years old, I didn't even think to myself, why am I being left with a stranger? I didn't think anything of it.
Was that a normal thing to just, your mom might drop you off? Oh, just, watch her real quick.
Be babysat, So I didn't think anything of it. The boyfriend, the brother and his girlfriend, they got into an argument, whatever. You can, hear them yelling in the background. She left, right? She left. And that's when he came into the living room and raped me. Yeah. And it was a very, brutal experience for me.
So again, you got to tell me, like, if I'm going too far, if I'm saying anything, and you may say, hey, Dawn, some things are common sense, but just to understand, do you remember it? Because some things people shut back, but you remember this day.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Now, as I got older, once I got older and got into therapy, I was able to really go back as an adult, as a healed adult, to process what was going on when it was going on. And at that time, I had, my little Pocahontas braids, and I was a little girl. He took my braids out, right? I was duct taped. I was tied. It was brutal. And I just think that taking my pigtails out, like my little braids, in his mind was making me not look so much like a little girl. Of course, he was drinking. You could smell alcohol, right? But yeah, it was bad. And my fight was not a heavy fight. It was an uncomfortable fight. It was a scared fight, not knowing what I should be fighting about. And I knew I was being hurt, and I was scared, and I knew, being duct taped, something's not right. This is not, am I about to get a spanking? Like, I had no idea. So, yeah.
What happened after that?
I do remember maybe about halfway through, I blacked out. Like, I think I passed out, because all I remember was my mom waking me up in the morning and saying, "Come on, let's go home." I was
you were fully clothed?
Mm-hmm. Everything. So I don't know when she came in to see me, what she saw. I don't know any of that. I just went, and I ended up telling her when we got home, because I was completely quiet. She thought something was wrong with me.
And what did she say?
She believed me.
What did you say? Hey, Ma, what did you say?
I said, "Mommy, that man, his brother, I forgot his name, but I said, Mommy, his brother put tape on my face and touched my private parts." And that's what I remember. And she said, "What?" And I said, "He tied me and touched my private parts." And she said, "No." And she said, "Okay, go take a nap. Go take a nap." And she said, "And don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody that." She's like, let me talk to your grandmother, and go take a nap.
Go take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You were silenced when it happened,
mm-hmm.
and then silenced again after it happened.
Mm-hmm. So when I think of myself, right, and I go back, I say, okay, my mother was 13, right? So at 6 years old, my mother's probably 19, 20 years old. A 20-year-old, what is a 20-year-old thinking when her child tells her she's been raped? Now, I had my son at 20. To me, that's a death wish. But coming from a family of abuse, there's incest in my family. Oh, how much time do you have?
But the first time that you were assaulted was not
family, but the next time it was. Yeah.
Okay, so mama said, don't say anything. Let me go talk to your grandma.
Mm-hmm.
What goes on with little Keyonna after this?
Man, fear. A lot of fear. I felt I was going to get in trouble. I felt like I did something. I felt like I might get a spanking or I might be on punishment. And it was my mom, and my mommy said, don't tell anybody. And so I didn't say anything to anybody else until my mother gave me permission. I wasn't going to say anything. And that's it.
So from the time that your mother said not to say anything from her boyfriend's brother, you said that there was incest in your family.
Mm-hmm.
When did the incest start?
9. Yeah, 9. It was on my mother's side, and it was my tío, it was my Uncle Jose. And yeah, that happened he was on...
Oh, you called him out. I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the first time. And my thing is, you did. What am I, covering you up for?
I'm glad you said that, because I feel like...
why would I cover you up?
People feel like they got to protect people, and it's like, I wonder if it's sometimes like a shame.
No. Well, for me, maybe they don't want them to be shamed, but it's my story to tell.
Gotcha.
And my thing is, if you didn't want to be shamed, you shouldn't have done what you did. So it's something that, because I have to carry that the rest of my life, I can't erase my memory. You don't get to erase yours. You don't get to forget yours because, I've hushed and I don't want to call you out. I don't mind. It is what it is. But 3 years of that, and it stopped because he went to prison. He did his 3rd strike. He was on drugs. He was the oldest. He was on drugs, very protected by my grandmother, my aunt. Everyone had sympathy for him.
Why are they leaving you around him? I'm sure this isn't the first time, and pardon me as I say this. I am not as an attack on your family.
Absolutely.
I'm just wondering if someone is thinking that such as a behavior as like this has happened. One would think, well, where is Keyonna when Uncle or Tío Jose is, like...
Yeah.
People were just getting by, doing what they got to do.
Everybody was doing what they wanted to do. It would happen usually very late at night, in the evening, and people were asleep. And he would just come into the bedroom, I'd sleep on a pull-out couch, or I'd fall asleep watching cartoons in one of the other rooms or in the den, and he would come in late at night when everybody's sleeping. Right?
You never said anything.
Oh, I said something. I told my mother, and that was the first time she believed me, right? Because her thing was, we know he's done something like that before. Let's go tell your grandmother. And then she said, let's go tell your grandmother together, right? The first time, I don't know why she didn't believe me, right? I knew that the boyfriend stopped coming around. So the second time with my uncle, we went to go tell my grandmother, and I was surprised, and I think my mother was surprised because my grandmother was upset. It's her first son. It's her oldest son, right? And she was more upset with me.
What?
Yeah.
She was upset with you? What?
Yeah. She was upset. There was the demeanor. She was stern. She was huffing and puffing. And I'm just kind of looking like, am I going to get in trouble? I didn't want to get in trouble. I don't want my mom to get in trouble, And the first thing she said was, you need to wear different pajamas, Keyonna.
What?
I need to wear different pajamas. Now, me, I had, do you remember you remember the pajamas with the ruffles at the bottom?
Right.
Yeah, Rainbow Bright on them. My Little Pony. Right.
Cabbage Patch.
Right. I went to sleep. I still slept with a glowworm and my kid sister. So I'm just thinking, okay, I have to wear different. So she basically said to me as a 9-year-old, I am bringing this on myself. Whatever I'm wearing, right, is causing this for me. I'm doing this. So I felt embarrassed. I was shamed. I felt like, oh my God, I'm doing something. I have no idea. I told my mom, I was just like, I need pajamas. I need other pajamas. I need pants, pajamas. Like, my mother was not happy. You could just look at her face and it's like she saw a ghost. She wasn't expecting that answer. I wasn't expecting to hear that answer either. I didn't change pajamas. It didn't stop for 3 years. Now, it didn't happen every day, but it happened consistently enough that it shaped my mindset. I expected it. I went to school. Sometimes what I would do is stay at school longer. I would leave and try to go to school before school starts and get there early and spend time with my teachers. Like I said, I was a nerd. So I read books. I was a straight A student.
Wow.
So, oh yeah, I was a straight A student, and the situations and all that happened at home and in my neighborhood just made me want to stay at school and be around what felt safe as long as I could, because I knew when I go home, you don't know what's going to happen that night. And as smart as I was, I started to not really have any respect for adults. I just felt like, adults in my family, they don't keep you safe. I was told that I was a smart mouth and I did a lot of back talking and that I was fast, because I was always in, people's face type thing. But I back talk because I felt like no one's protecting me. I don't trust anyone anymore. I'm mad. It really was. I was mad and hurt.
So did you grow up feeling loved?
No.
Or
from not really. Now on my dad's side.
Right. Where's your dad when all because he's still away?
My dad was in the military. Right. But then here's the thing, I found out later, because around that time, 8, 9, I just noticed he wasn't really coming around at all. I found out later, because he told me when I got a little bit older, that my grandmother and my aunts used to have a problem with him picking me up and putting me on his shoulders. When the dads put their kids on the shoulders, they got on his case about that. No kisses. Don't be picking her up when she has on a dress. Like, and my dad,
side?
No, my mom's side was saying it to my dad. Exactly.
Whoa.
Exactly. And my dad is shy. He was like, wait, what? This is my daughter. What are you guys They monitored my dad very heavy.
Meanwhile, your entire family on your mom's side, there's a whole moment happening.
Exactly. And my grandmother, on my dad's mother, my granny, she said, I knew something was going on. I just didn't know what. I thought that you were just always getting in trouble, or that you just didn't feel loved, or that you were getting picked on. Because I fought a lot. I had a bunch of cousins. I was fighting all the time. I was getting my butt kicked because, I'm in the hood, but I'm listening to Chicago, Kenny Loggins, Barbra Streisand, Elton John, on top of Whitney Houston and all that, and listening to classical music and film score. So they were just like, what are you listening to? I like disco. So I was really different. I was a nerd. And I liked what I liked, and music was like a huge escape for me. And my favorite song was Mahogany by Diana Ross because of the score of the music. So, I fell into that, but my grandmother, my granny thought, maybe something's going on. No one was telling her anything, but she could just tell that my body demeanor, and I wasn't saying anything. And she asked, "Are you okay?" But I always kept in what my mom said, don't tell anybody anything. And my grandmother ended up saying that too. Don't tell anybody what goes on in my house.
Oh, that's something about.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of just African-American households, I feel like that whole shame, don't tell anybody what stays in here stays. So you carry all that weight.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've had some friends that have been assaulted, who've been molested by family members and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And even recently, I got this one friend where she has a sister, and her sister was molested. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it was by her father or her sibling's father.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a lot of anger towards her mother. And her mother says, well, you can't blame me because I didn't know. Now, pardon me, I'm not trying to overstep. I just know me growing up, I knew the sound of my mama's keys when she walked into the house.
Exactly. You knew how she closed the door.
I know how she closed
the car door. You know what I'm saying?
And so it makes me furious. And I don't know if I have it right. I just feel like I just don't feel like it carries enough weight for a being that you held in your body, that you see every day, that you done laid on your chest, that you know their breath, their moment, and you telling me that you noticed that you didn't notice that something was different, that something has changed. You a damn lie. And I think it's unfair, and I think you're wrong. Pardon me, got invested because it stood out to me that your granny said, baby, I see you. I see that something's different. And perhaps that's a thing, because I know, like, as a child, like, our dream is that we want to be seen. You want to be seen, heard, valued, and understood. And I just felt like no one understood why I stayed at school so much. No one understood Did they even ask?
Why I was back to. No.
Did they want to know what you were doing?
No. And here's the thing. And when you pay attention to the movement, right, it kind of sets itself up. I feel like the trafficking was set up. I felt like I was primed for it, if that makes sense.
Wow.
I was groomed to not tell. Before that even came into the picture, I was groomed to keep my mouth closed. I was groomed to stay silent. I was groomed to keep secrets. I was groomed to be told that, you know, my feelings and what I have to say doesn't matter, and that I'm not going to be protected. I'm not going to be safe, that my family is not going to come for me, that no one is going to protect me or say or speak up for me on my behalf. That structure was already set. That foundation was already laid out. They're like, you can tell your mom, you can tell your grandmother, you can tell who. No one's going to believe you anyway. So you learn to just be quiet, suppress, keep it to yourself, and figure out a way to manage life and start.
How are you holding on? Because it sounded like you didn't have anybody.
So when I was able to go to my grandmother's house, I did. It wasn't always horrible moments. And here, the psychological mind is, I don't want to curse because I want to say the
You know, you don't talk. You don't talk. On vitamin D, we talk.
Oh, okay.
So
it's a psychological mind fuck when my uncle is the one who taught me how to salsa dance. You know, he's the one who taught me how to make enchiladas, and he's the one who, like, a lot of the different my favorite foods to cook. You know what I mean? In the daytime, when he's sober, you know what I mean? He's the one who taught me how to, you know, hold my notes when I sing.
Oh, you can sing?
Yes, I have 2 singles out.
Oh.
But yeah, and so this person that I loved became someone different at night. And I had to continue to love him. And I had to continue to live as if what has happened hasn't happened as a child.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And so enjoying my family when I can and suppressing, right? But it's not that, you know, I had low self-esteem. Everybody's like, you're so pretty. I wasn't pretty to me, hence the name of the organization. I had such low self-esteem. I didn't know what love was supposed to be like. I thought love was supposed to be when you rubbed and touched and slept with and all these other things. And I didn't know. I had no idea. So by the time I went to middle school and I got caught up in the gang stuff, because that was the first time I actually told somebody. When I joined the gang.
You were at school because you were trying to get away from home. So this is
right.
the safe space.
This is a safe space. I was getting bullied. I think I said this before. I was getting my ass kicked. Me and another friend of mine named Grace, and yeah, her name was great. I loved her. She was so nerdy like me, and we went from elementary to the same middle school, and we were just getting our butt kicked. The nerdy stuff didn't do so well in middle school, and I remember some of the girls set her hair on fire.
Wait, what?
Yeah, in the girls' bathroom.
So this is like 12, 13?
Yeah.
All right.
11, 12. Yeah. And I was just like, I had come to school late. This was around homeroom time. And her parents checked her out. They were just like, they were Samoan. They were like, nope, we out of here. Right. I was going to like Audubon Middle School, which is a horrible school. It was not a horrible school, but it was rough back then.
You setting people's hair on
fire. It was rough.
Shoot.
Listen, the gang life on school campus, and I went to Crenshaw High too. Yeah, it was.
So they be rolling tough in middle school.
Middle school, yes. And so a lot. But then my uncles banged. I grew up in gang infest. Like I was around all of that, right? And so once my friend left, I was just like, well, I'm about to be getting my ass kicked by myself. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And so, because I could fight. I had cousins. I've been fighting. Listen, one thing I can do.
Don't get it twisted.
Like, let me tell you something. I could fight. But when it's like a whole, like a bunch of girls, I'm like, look, I don't have no cousins here. I just got Grace. All my cousins are older. They were like, much older than me and at different schools and different campuses. So I'm just like, I can't fight all you girls. So what's it going to be? And one of the girls was just like, you might as well fight, and this your life. Like you either gonna be part of this or you gonna be dealing with that. What's it gonna be? Because you don't have the other girl here no more.
This is one of the girls from the gang. It's like, yo, you gonna wow. So you decided to
I had to fight like 10, 15 girls in the bathroom and not fall.
What does that mean? Like not fall down?
Not fall down and get stomped out. If you fall, they'll stomp you out.
What does it mean to be stomped out?
When you lay down in fetal position and they kicking the hell out of you. All of them. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but to get stomped out, it's no joke. That's
you
no
didn't get
joke.
stomped out?
No, I didn't. I can hold my own. So, I felt when that was over, I had the protection. I had a group of girls.
So wait, now you're a part of a gang now?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, okay. Which?
Fodies, neighborhood crip. Yeah. I was a part of that whole thing. And a lot of people they'll look at me and say, no way, right? My mom said no way when she finally saw me one day. Like, what I would do is I would put my clothes, I would put my Chucks, I would put my, my Dickies, I would wear my uncles. So they were like 4 or 5, sizes too big. Everything was baggy back in the day.
Somebody that don't know, paint the picture. So you got the Chucks on.
I'm about to tell you. So you got it was very cholo style. So, I had my little button right here. My button right here. I had my Dickies. It was, my plaid, my blue and black, checkered
shirt.
Checkered shirt. I wore like the black lip liner, black eyeliner, hair slicked back into a bun or a ponytail, with like red lipstick or whatever colored lipstick would be in there with the black lip liner, you know what I'm saying? And then I would have rings on every finger.
Just so you knock somebody out.
Not just that, I was very strategic. I had a skull head, right, that I took safety pin needles and I put the safety pin needles, like the needles inside of the skull. And then I had 2 triceratop rings. And triceratops, it's got the horns, right? So if I hit you, I'm going to puncture you.
Whoa.
Period.
Just so that we're clear.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like some stuff like my mom used to tell me, like growing up, how the girls would carry razors in their mouth.
Yeah.
And so, you don't even know. Slick. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Yeah. And then you have your blue belt. The cloth ones that you put the little belt buckle and then you tighten them around. Yep. And then you have your Chucks. You either wear the black ones with the blue laces or the navy blue ones with the blue laces. I would put all of that in my backpack. I would change when I got to school. I would go in the girls' bathroom. I would change when I got to school. Sometimes I was ditching. Here's the thing though. I was still smart and I was still getting good grades out of all of that. And I was actually doing some of their homework.
What?
But I was ditching. I was fighting. But
now you safe because you got your crew.
Exactly. So I thought.
So you thought.
So I thought. And this is why I teach my girls all the time. You choose your friends. You don't ever be put in a situation where your friends choose you because they may not be your friends and they may have a hidden agenda. At least I thought I had a deep connection with one of the girls there. Her name was Kim. And I told her all the stuff that was going on at home. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, so you about 14 now?
12. I was 12.
Okay, 6th grade.
Mm-hmm. 6th grade. And I told her the stuff that was going on with me. And I actually told her about all the rape, all the stuff, and not being believed, everything. And so I ended up meeting her boyfriend or whoever she was dating, the Romeo. Exactly.
He was a Romeo?
He was a Romeo. He was a Romeo. I didn't know. He was 16. I just thought he was cute. And it was her boyfriend. So we were supposed to ditch school, go to McDonald's, maybe go to the mall, maybe go up the hill, because up the hill you have from Audubon, you have like Baldwin Hills and View Park and all the other jazz. And then Lamert Park is over there by where the school is. So we were either going to go to like McDonald's or something, then maybe walk up the hills, whatever.
McDonald's right off of Crenshaw?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So.
Right off of Stalker?
Yep. And I was like, all right, bet. I'll go with y'all, thinking I'm grown. I did school because I still turned in the homework. I still did everything I was supposed to do. I was bad and low self-esteem. I went stupid. And I went with them. And we walked into this house. I'll never forget. You know how you walk into a room and you look around and you just know in your gut, this is not about to be good for me.
Oh, that discernment.
That it just, in the pit of, even as young as I was, I grew up knowing when somebody's about to get pistol whipped. I grew up knowing, this some about to go. Let me go in the house. You know what I mean? You got to walk the streets to school. You know when to let me go across the street, look like something about to go down right there, or let me get duck down behind the car, act like I'm tying my shoe, look like this about to get ugly. Let me just duck down, type of thing, right? Not hitting, not like shootouts and things like drive-bys. House raids when the cops come. When they make the little pigeon sounds. You know what I mean? For the bird. Or certain little claps.
Wait.
Listen.
Wait, that's what it means. Like go.
Yes.
Fly away.
Yeah, you got to go.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, after a while, you're accustomed to paying attention to surroundings. There's just some shit about to go down, right? I walk into the house, and it's full of men and some women. There's drugs out. There's bags of weed out. There's, cocaine lines out. There's guns out. And I'm just like,
no shade. This is not at the norm, right?
I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Right.
I was like, what are we doing here? We're supposed to be going to McDonald's and just like, who else this is? Whose house is this? Where are we at? And I'm thinking, well, maybe we'll go. First, I was just like, well, maybe we'll go to the back, right? I see her going to the back, sneaking out to the back, and leaving me there. And I'm looking at her like, what? And her Romeo was just like, nah, you stay. So come to find out, she knew. She had already told them.
Told them what?
That I had been raped before and that incest has happened and nobody believes her. And she told them everything.
Wow.
They already knew. And they told me that they knew. They told me that they knew.
Once again, you're not safe.
I'm not safe.
You're not protected.
I'm not. And not only that, but the level of betrayal and deceit from somebody that you feel like, okay, I can finally trust somebody. And, now, no, you cannot. You know what I mean? No, you cannot. And, they took me upstairs and he was just like, yeah, she'll work. Take her upstairs. And that was my introduction to being tried out before putting me out there. I mean, they knew my uncles, they knew my mom, they knew where I lived. They knew my routes to school. They knew all my classes. Like, but they knew everything there was to know about me. I've confided a lot, so they already knew, and they're from a different gang. They're from a completely different game. So technically, I'm an enemy. My family is an enemy of theirs. You know what I mean? So, it ain't nothing for them to do a drive-by. You know what I mean? They're on a completely different side. This whole clique was like Pyrus. So, which is, yeah, no, those are Bloods. It wasn't gonna work out for me. If I did anything funny, if I moved funny, it wasn't gonna work out for me. And so I took that weight, like, well, hell, you really gonna get your ass whooped now because you wasn't supposed to be leaving school. What you gonna do? What you gonna say?
What
You
gonna
did, yeah, you did school.
They gonna say, oh, Keyonna, she was out there being fast.
Exactly. I already told her I'm fast all the time now. Stop asking people for ice cream from the ice cream truck. Okay. But it really is just, it's really fucked up because at that time I just felt like, well, I'm used to it.
So so they bring you in the room. They say, try her out. She's good to work. I mean, this sounds so ignorant, but I can't even recall. God dog it, I can't recall the movie, but it was a father, and I think his daughter was about to get caught up in the sex trafficking ring.
Oh, what's it called? Taken.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember watching it. It was hard to watch. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my God.
And that's when you and I was making that. I was envisioning, what you were saying, like based on what I saw in the movie or just what it could feel like, the sound, the people, this young person. Nobody recognized or noticed that you were gone because like the sex trafficking, he was looking for his daughter. He couldn't find her.
So here's the thing, and this is what I mean by when I say it's hidden in plain sight, right? No one's paying attention to me. No one's trying to see what time's Keyonna coming home. I stay late all the time. I'm always out all the time. I ride bikes in the street. We would, get on the bikes and ride up to USC and come in late. No one was checking for me. No one's never checking for me. And I think too, because they feel like, well, she's a nerd. All she do is go to school. She ain't about to get into no trouble. They didn't know about the gang stuff. They just knew I was getting good grades. That's all that matters. My behavior, my demeanor, they didn't pay attention to any of that. They thought I was, fast. They thought I was sassy. I had a smart mouth. I had a slick mouth. I was educated, so I would always, overtalk everybody else and say, what, you don't know. Do you even know what this math problem is? And like, that would be my slap in the face. So me being gone, I would leave like after school, or I would be made to like ditch school, and they'll be there. There's no getting out of it. They're waiting for you. There's somebody at the entrances and by the schools, and in eye shot, there's someone sitting in a car. So you're being seen. And then you have the other girls who are watching you, making sure as well, right? Other women that were in that house at that time were also helping the men, right? So it's a whole thing. It happens like right under people's nose, and women are actively participating in the trafficking of some of the younger girls for the men, right? Whether they're getting paid, they're getting a cut from it, and I made sure that I was always back by 11, 12 o'clock at night.
I thought sex trafficking, I thought they try to, or they prevent their victims from going outside. But you were allowed to go home?
I was allowed to go home.
Okay, so I thought sex trafficking, even in the movies, they send them on a plane, someone overseas,
that happens,
and then they're
too.
gone.
Yeah, that happens too.
But this is a situation, it's happening right, the transactions are going right under the nose. And you're not seeing any money. You're just being a transaction.
Yeah, I'm a transaction.
And the fear and the silence that they placed on you is the only thing that's allowing this to keep going.
Yeah. The threat, the violence, something happened to my mother, something happened to my sister, or my aunts, or my grandmother, or anybody in my family. They would have you go to, I've gone to like transactions in Beverly Hills, Long Beach a lot, especially by the port, downtown a lot. So from corporate men to foreigners, you name it. And believe it or not, it's just you go into the hotel, you do what you need to do, and you leave. And there's somebody waiting to get you. So you're not leaving and going, no.
Nobody is wondering what a little child is doing in there?
Going in there? No, because a lot of times you go with the women as well. You have people, you check into these hotels, and then someone else pulls in with a kid, 12, 13 years old. No one is always paying attention to that.
What?
People don't pay attention. People don't pay attention. I was hoping and a wishing that somebody would say, something don't look right. But that never happened. And to help me and to save me. And there are times when I remember being on a bus, right? Some of that stuff happens and you're on a bus. They're taking you to where you need to be, even on a bus. Believe it or not. I did some training.
You said
a training and some awareness for the LA Metro bus stations, to how to identify when you see something. What should they be paying attention to when someone's on the bus? Someone paid for me, and I got molested on the bus. On the bus in the back.
This is like any type of public transportation bus. This is like a Greyhound.
This is a Metro bus.
A
regular Metro bus. You see them everywhere.
You said you had this low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it at now? Where's your self-esteem now?
Oh, I love me. Listen, there's no shame. It took a lot of therapy because I think I carried a lot of shame. And I felt like for a long time, I didn't want to speak about it. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to bring family shame. I felt like some of that I did to myself. I felt like some of that maybe I deserved it. Maybe I wasn't a good enough kid. And this just was a punishment for me. I felt damaged. Mm-hmm. Right? I felt like no one is going to love me. I have been a transaction my whole childhood. No one is going to want me for anything other than that. And it took a lot of therapy and a lot of stillness and a lot of time with myself. I had to unlearn a lot of conditioned programming. I had to change my mindset, and I had to discover what unconditional love is supposed to look like and feel like on my own.
Wow.
On my own, because I didn't experience it. And it was not easy, and it was a lot of trial and error. It wasn't easy.
It's the process, right?
It's the process, right? And not looking for friendships, not looking for validation, not looking for acceptance, being comfortable in my skin, feeling pretty, and not just physically pretty. Like, I think I have a beautiful spirit. The best part of me is the fact that I have such a loving heart, in spite of not being loved the way I was supposed to be loved growing up.
Get your vitamin.